Welcome to your training to boost your TOEFL Writing Question 2 score, right? Your Writing Question 2 essay from TOEFL Talk with NoteFull episode number 15, where we train you on the tips and tricks, the critical training, and do our best to provide the personal support until you reach your dream TOEFL score, which you will. So I'm Joseph from NoteFull, excited to be with you and want to talk today about a special switch to the TOEFL Talk with NoteFull series. So what we're going to do is introduce parts of our online class training, which comes from what we call our gold course. So in this course, we have 16 hours of training, 4 hours per TOEFL section. And today we're going to get a clip from the 4 hours that focus on the writing. And then, of course, 2 of those hours on writing question number 2. And it's going to be specific on training your body paragraphs because that's a really important part of your score for writing question number 2. In addition, the way we improve is actually related to how you improve every part of your writing, every section. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see. And in this clip, we're going to talk about connection, which essentially means that as a paragraph is read, it's related to your overall essay. Because in question number 2, just to give you a little background, because I know many of you are part of the gold course and you're watching the videos to get more training. Some of you are new NoteFull students, so that you're kind of new to the TOEFL and NoteFull. So your writing section is your last section. And this is important to keep in mind. And you have 2 questions, question 1, question 2. Question 2 asks for your general opinion about something. Do you agree or disagree? If this occurred, what would you do? And so you need to write your essay to give your opinion about that question within 30 minutes. So how do you write an essay in 30 minutes that's going to improve your score, whether you're new to the TOEFL or you've been kind of working through it for several years? So the breakdown is to make sure that the sentences you're writing are actually connected in a way where when a grader reads any random sentence, there's a sense of connection with the idea that you are explaining, like what your opinion is. So we're going to talk about that with the body paragraph in a way that's going to help you improve your overall essay. Because one thing you want to keep in mind is that you're going to be graded by a computer and by a human grader. And so the computer grader is really just evaluating with an algorithm, which is like checking words and connection and synonym usage and transition words and grammar and everything. So you can trust that if you can convince the human grader to give you a higher rating, the computer rater will as well. So let's focus on this human rater. Like, what are the things that they're looking for that the computer is trained to catch as well? Well, first, remember, you're evaluated out of 5. So your essay is going to be scored a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And that's converted into your score of 30 overall. So that's where the challenge comes in, because a little bit of improvement in your writing is not enough to improve your score. You actually have to improve to a whole nother level. The amount of connection and explanation and clarity has to reach 20% higher for you to start seeing your score change. So to give you a sense, getting a 3 out of 5 is when you're scoring about an 18 to a 22. A 4 out of 5 you could say is around 23 to 26. And a 5 out of 5 is around the 26 to 30 out of 30 range. And the scores are averaged between the grader and the grader, human, and computer, right? And so what you want to think about is, in order for me to improve my score, you want to think I need to get 20% better at my grammar, 20% better at my connection, and then I can trust my score will improve. Since you and most NoteFull students are working to get towards the 24, 25, 26 plus, there's a really strong demand that your essay have a way of explaining that's kind of like I like to say, has a little bit of wow, like, oh, that's pretty good. That's quite clear. So you want to keep that in mind. There's a real person reading, and there's a computer that's kind of programmed to match the person. So we satisfy that human who's reading to be clear and well explained, and we'll succeed. So this clip is going to train us on the connection, the way we write sentences, so that a grader and a computer will see your essay is another level better, 20% better, so you improve your score. We're also going to talk about timing, how to make sure that you're presenting the best essay overall, because it needs to be evenly developed, right? So we have a 4-paragraph essay. This video is just about the body paragraph, but we train that first you outline, right? You brainstorm what your essay is going to be regarding the question. Then you write your intro, your 2 body paragraphs, and your conclusion, right? So in your body paragraph, you have about 9 minutes to write it. And so you want to understand how much can I type in 9 minutes. So I don't try to write some big example, even though it's great, some big explanation for why I believe what I believe, because when I start to write it, I don't type fast enough to explain that full idea, and I need to be thinking about my grammar, my subject-verb agreement, my connection that I'm going to learn in this video. So I can't just write as fast as I can, because then, of course, I'm not going to improve my writing, because you need to think first, type second, and that takes time. So you have to adjust what you're explaining to how much you can explain. So if you can only type 100 words in 9 minutes, you don't want to have an idea in your head that takes 200 words, because then you're going to be rushed. It'll be tough to make it make sense. You'll be under a lot of pressure. So we're going to deal with that in today's training as well. And the next thing is just this sense that we kind of call explanation. Not forgetting there is a person who understands these essays are from individuals working to get into university, PhD programs, professional licensing. So there's an understanding of the essay supporting a level. So you want to make sure that you care not just about strategy, but about explaining your own opinion as an academic professional, so someone else, it's understandable, it's convincing, it makes sense. Because when you think like that, your best English starts to come out. Now, we do train grammar, but today's clip won't be about that, because you can consider grammar important, but connection overall has a greater influence on your score. So to make sure that we're efficient, we really help you today, we're going to concentrate on connection and save grammar for another lesson. So you excited? I hope so, because you get to see a clip from the class. Going to make sure you understand how to join it if you're interested, but this way we're all improving as a community. Students in the gold course, we get to review. New students, you get to kind of be a part of the class itself. So to begin, the beginning of the clip focuses on developing connection, about writing your body paragraph, supporting your opinion. So we're going to jump right in. Follow nice and comfortable. You can review the video if you feel like we're going a little bit too fast. We teach you the 4 steps to write your body paragraph, right? We've taught it before in previous videos, but it's very important to review. And you're going to learn the relationship between each step. Because when you write step 3, you have to remember what you wrote in step 1 and 2, or else we're in trouble. Same score, lower score. So there has to be this, as I'm writing my step 3, I'm remembering what I wrote in my step 1, so there's a connection. And it's going to make sense once the clip starts. And the other way around. After I finish step 3, after I finish one step, I go back to the previous step and I make sure it makes sense. They're connected. Because step 1 is your reason for your opinion, and step 2, etc., is all about that reason, which we're going to learn right now. So let's go ahead and jump into the first part of your clip and get this training on connection. Enjoy. For this body paragraph, right, memorize, visualize, kind of these steps for everything. I'm going to give you a minute, 30 seconds, a little bit of extra time. They're going to disappear, and then you're going to do something similar to see if you've mastered these steps. So take your time to memorize them, understand them the best you can, starting now. Okay. So for Marwa and others, right? Remember your outlining was training. We could have just forgotten about it. So we're learning how to think in steps because when we evaluate essays, a lot of times there's a sense that there's a lot of writing going on and explanation, but there's a forgetting of the steps. So by giving you content that's not yours, you have to think like to create connection because it's not your idea. So it's like you see the steps and you develop this ability to think in terms of the relationship between one step and the other. So the fact that you're kind of familiar with it from previous training for some of you, and the fact that it's new is very powerful. So let your brain erase if you're having a little trouble because you disagree, because the truth is, for the step mastery, agreeing or disagreeing doesn't matter. So we want to just let ourselves recognize for any essay, I can follow these steps, whether I agree, disagree, it's mine, it's somebody else's, and really have a sense of I can see what the graders are looking for. I can see the connection necessary to create clarity. So we scroll down here and you see that we have given you the first two steps. So it's better if you don't agree because it forces you to completely rely on your mastery of connection and what it means to give an example that supports the reason. So the first step is the reason. The second step is an explanation of the reason. From this, if you have mastered steps, it'll be difficult, but it's always difficult, but you can do it. To create an example that illustrates this. Because when we write our own essay, sometimes we forget to reference the first two steps. Since this isn't yours, it's training you to be double checking regularly with the first two steps and making sure that you're on track. So you're going to have 5 minutes and 30 seconds, or actually 6 minutes and 30 seconds, to complete an example that illustrates this. It'll be tough, but you can do it. Got to master those steps individually and the concluding sentence. Now, if you notice, you have 9 minutes for the body paragraph. So we're giving you 6.5 minutes. So 6 minutes, because that means step one and two take about 3 minutes, and step three and four, because the example's large, tend to take about 6 minutes. So you're getting some practice with time management. Just like in the TOEFL speaking, remember what we do when we have a difficulty with a part of the question. We eliminate it, we put 20 seconds on the clock, and we only explain the part of the lecture that's difficult. For example, in question number 2, if it's difficult for you to explain the first reason of the student and create connection to the reading, what do? We set the timer for 20 seconds and train that. So you realize every step needs a completion. And when the grader sees that and reads that and gets that connection, you get your score. Everyone, does that make sense? Good, good. And so for Anna and Fakiha, what I would say to you is I want to make sure that we're kind of there's always variation. Like for example, Anna, you begin with, can I start a paragraph with I agree or disagree? 100% absolutely. But we want to master one strategy so we have a technique we can rely on. So I want you to follow what you're training on here because we know it works. Unless you really feel you want to do something else, no problem. But we'll always train this. And Fakiha talks about, if I'm a little confused, can I talk about both sides? Absolutely. But right now, that's not so critical because right now we're learning thinking in steps thinking in the relationship between steps to create a complete and well-connected essay that will improve our score, just like Maj, 24 all the way to a 30, right? So everybody ready? And you don't worry about retyping or copying and pasting the first two steps. You can just kind of reference the screen and then you write the third and the fourth step and you have 6.5 minutes. Everybody ready? Only step 3 and 4. Yeah, only step 3 and 4. Don't use your time to retype steps 1 and 2. And Alpo, remember, not just the example and the concluding sentence, because you have step 3, the example, and step 4, the concluding sentence. All right, now I want to cut in before you write, a couple things to remember. As you write, this is going to be great because since you only have 6 minutes and 30 seconds and you're doing step 3 and 4, it's so unique that you're going to notice you're paying much more attention to the timer. And this is great because you're realizing you have to explain those first two steps in 6 minutes and 30 seconds. That's all you have. So you want to take into consideration the words that you can type in 6 minutes and 30 seconds. You don't want to try to create an example so big that you can't finish it. So make sure you're checking the timer and adjusting, letting yourself get to the point, because you want to make sure your paragraph is complete. That when you finish the 6 minutes and 30 seconds, if you read that whole paragraph, it makes sense, it completes the story. Some of us can write more words, some of us less, but the most important thing is it's complete. And remember, I want you to feel comfortable because this is the training that you want to do over and over again to create that success, right? To get your dream score. So recognize that you may discover, oh, this is a little tough. I got to do these 6 minutes and 30 seconds. I have to review this video a few times. But you'll benefit because as you learn to write this way, this is how you can improve every part of your TOEFL, because when you learn the steps and strategies and you really care about mastering them, that's when everything starts to change with your confidence, with your comfort, and with your ability to perform on the TOEFL to get your score. So let's jump in and get you typing. I want you to type 6 minutes, 30 seconds. Do your best. Let's continue. Everybody ready? You can do it. Thinking in steps. Good luck. Begin typing now. All right, so great job writing, typing that out. It's okay. Remember, you can review this video as much as you need so you keep building that skill. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go into an example from a student in class. So in class, we train in this way. We review examples from students and we keep training to really work on boosting your ability. So I want you to keep in mind as we review, and not only do we look at connection and do we celebrate finishing on time, but the explanation. Just think to yourself, is this a strong example? Is it convincing? Because you want to make sure you know graders are paying attention to that too, the quality of what you say. So think about your reader more, who happens to be a grader, right? You want him or her to really read your best explanation, your best English, your best professional kind of experience and background with what you're explaining. And one final thing, which is really big, how you explain is much more important than what. Your opinion is not a factor in your score. The reasons are not a factor in the sense that, what your reasons are. What matters is that you have a complete and well explained idea that has some kind of convincingness to it, right? Within the structure, within the strategy. So make sure you feel comfortable. Your reasons are nowhere near as important as you think they are. Your opinion, not near as important. It's just that whatever you write, whatever you think, is explained well. So I hope this is going to make sense as you watch that clip and we evaluate that paragraph together. So go ahead and continue the clip. So let's bring in these two steps and let's see how we perform. And I like this. The first thing that pops up to me about this is that it's complete. Bravo. I see the fourth step, right? Bravo. That means you're writing to your time. Because I hope you're all recognizing that you're not typing the paragraph in 9 minutes, you're typing it in six. So was this different than the way you normally write? Were you like checking your first two steps, like the green and the yellow, much more often than usual? Were you checking the timer and adjusting much more often than usual? We better keep doing that even when it's our own essay with our own personal experience. So with that, let's go ahead and read this. 124. So I'm going to give you, we'll say 45 seconds, everybody. And let's bring in the steps. Here. And I'm going to give you 45 seconds to read that paragraph now completely and just check, does it all match? Do you see the connection? Do you see the explanation? Begin reading now. All right. And again, a bravo. Excellent job. And so Medina, you write, there's not enough time because we're trying to write more than can fit with our word count. That's the training. There is no more time ever. So we have to change so that we finish on time. And so we have to accept that our word count might be less than we want and then train to improve. So does everyone see this is excellent? So for instance, when I go to work every day, I wear my work clothes. This clothes makes me feel more serious. This connection and this repetition is excellent, right? The only thing that can improve is that because of the limited word count, we also brought in my kids. So there were two parts to this example, but because of the limited word count, it would probably be better to, instead of repeating the word serious just by itself, give the example with that. So this example, to be complete, would develop the idea, what do we wear for work? How does it influence us? Now, the important thing is though, with the kids, my after work, I change my clothes to other one. My kids feel different with my clothes too. They start to play with me as soon as I change my work clothes. Even when I leave my house, they act differently if I'm wearing the work clothes than if I wear other clothes. So for me, this works. This works well done. But I hope you notice that when we start to talk about the kids, this is where the example completes the explanation of the reason. Because we can say here, after work, I change my clothes to comfortable clothes to relax at home. So that illustrates I choose different clothes, right? I change my clothes, I choose clothes to relax. What happens as a result, right? Your behavior changes, right? So my kids feel different with my clothes too. They start to play with me and I feel comfortable playing, right? So you're saying both are happening. I behave differently and my children behave differently towards me. And because of my appearance, we start to support this different experience. We're all behaving differently. Now, in the conclusion, I perfect. Nothing real. No, well, it's excellent, right? When I see the conclusion, for me, there's a strong desire to bring it back to the introductory paragraph conclusion. I'm sorry, opinion. So that shows us how clothes influence our behavior, right? Or that shows us, so if we go over here, people behave differently when they wear different clothes. So that shows us how clothes change the way we behave, change the way we act. Kids works well, but the conclusion is meant to kind of repeat the main point. So everybody, does that make sense and help? Do we see that? Excellent connection. And for me, the biggest bravo is step 3 is done. Step 4 is done on time. And the example is really working to create integration. So now our example, which is familiar, which will be similar. And so we'll bring in, I don't think we need the steps because you kind of have them there. Yeah, we'll do 1 minute and 15 seconds to study this. And remember, when you start to study these carefully, there's always a sense of, oh, that can be more connected there. Oh, that's a little bit disconnected. Oh, this could be a better word. This example is a little disconnected if I do this. So once you start training like this, you just become more and more masterful, and your score keeps improving and improving. So 1 minute, 15 seconds to read our example to get that double illustration of the point, starting now. Read that with care. Right. And Sayuri, maybe if you can reword that question, if I think it might have gotten cut, or I think I need a little bit more detail on that. So everybody, Sayuri, Natalia, Proshat, Ali, Anna, Andrea, everybody, Amar, does this make sense? Are you changing the way you're writing? Do you notice it? You're checking the timer more. You're checking the steps more. You're seeing, oh, I have a job to do. It's not just my reason and example. It's putting the puzzle together for the grader. I hope you enjoyed the clip right from our gold course, our most recent gold course, so you're right with us. And so what would be great is if you take a moment right now, just reflect, maybe take a minute. What are you going to do from now on? What are you going to train? How are you going to write? So that when you take your TOEFL, you really get your highest score possible. You improve. And leave that in the comments below. We love to see that, and great to know what in the video is sticking more than other things. Don't forget, give yourself a pat on the back, because what you did wasn't easy. It's tough. Stay strong and know what you're learning works, but it's tough. So it takes time, and it does take that mastery. Like, you really are learning a lot. It's not just one template or one trick that's suddenly going to change your score when you're working to improve. It's that really changing our level, right? Moving from a 3 rating, 20% better to a 4 rating, 20% better to a 5 rating. So that first thumbs up goes to you. And if you like the lesson, give us a thumbs up. We love to see it. Helps us know which lessons are really connecting with you most. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Right? Remember, these videos come about every other week, sometimes once a week. And for more help, check out the Facebook page that we have for you. You can see the link below the video. We have both the YouTube videos that we post there, and we often post a lot of other resources, free help for you. Make sure you're connected with that. And finally, if you're ready to keep working together, maybe join these classes so that we can make sure that you're on track to success, give you the positive motivation and support. Right? I want to just explain a little bit, because as students go to the site, I want to make sure that you feel comfortable about how to work with NoteFull. So first, make sure that you know we have kind of 3 fundamental ways to help you. What we call our diamond course, so we always like to come up with these unique names, or maybe not so unique. But in the diamond course, that's our self-study material. So that's really the foundation of everything. So this is the #1 course for you to get. So if you click on the link below to get help from NoteFull, this will be the course that we recommend that you start with. It's in depth, covers every section. That's #1. Now, these class clips that you get are from our gold course. So our gold course are our online classes, and they are meant to support and guide you and other students through the diamond course. So you see, the gold course is a way to stay connected, motivate students, because sometimes studying by yourself is tough. So just to remind you, the self-study material, the diamond course first, and then add the gold course to that so that you can work together, get that guidance, don't feel alone as you study, get to ask your questions, and have what I hope is some fun together as we work to improve and get our dream score. And once you have these, we also have small group tutoring. So that's where we get to work closely together, a small group of about 6 students, and we get to really connect, get personal feedback, and work through material together, so you really discover what's challenging for you. So you can see, like, this is the order that you want to proceed in. The diamond course, all the resources, practices, training you need to improve. Then you add the gold course, the online classes, if you want more help and guidance. You just saw the clip, how it works, reinforcing and strengthening your skills from the diamond course. And if you want to really empower and get that personal feedback for the reading, listening, or speaking or writing, we have small group tutoring available. And so that covers, and that's why you kind of see it covers everything. So you know how to start, you know how to work together. And so you can get all that, register, start studying right away with the link below to notefull.com. So with that said, that pretty much covers everything. I just want to say it's a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay strong, stay focused, and know your success is coming. So until next time, bye-bye.